All right, today we're going to talk about the new guy. Every single one of us are going to get to the point to where we're going to need a little bit of help, some new blood in there to help us toss that vinyl around and get the job done. Well, we're in a kind of a strange new era when it comes to employees and employment and how and why they act the way that they do. And we've all seen that there's a huge shortage of, it's been going on for probably 5 years now, where it's just really difficult to find someone who's willing to do the work that we're doing. And that's, got a lot to do with the fact that there's so much other stuff going on there with content creation and video editing. And, Fiverr has a gazillion different little freelance jobs that people can do from their home, not to mention all the other stuff that's going on out there. So we are in a position where we are, looking for employees. Well, it's not as bad as it seems, because there are, people that enjoy the physical part of it, enjoy the entrepreneurial side of it, enjoy the outdoorsy side of it. But we need to know how we need to manage these employees so that we're doing not only the things that are going to keep them and train them so that they can become good employees and useful employees for us, but also that we can manage our own side of it. Now, I'm not going to get into any of the stuff as far as taxes or insurance or workers' comp or any of that other stuff. You guys need to do your research on this, because there's a million variables that go into this. I can tell you that cutting corners is going to catch up with you, and eventually, the man's going to come knocking, and he's going to want you to provide him with, whatever taxes or whatever that you should be paying on employees or insurance, or, however you're structured. I don't know. I'm going to more so focus on the fact of dealing with the employee themselves. There are a few tips that you need to keep in mind, that you need to start training your employees as soon as you can. Now, I'm a little older, and I come from a generation where we were encouraged to be self-motivating and to hustle, get out there and get it done, and don't sit around and wait on someone, don't stare at someone. Well, that's not true for all generations, and this comes from a lot of how the new generations are being taught through school and formal education. They're taught to wait for instruction, even though they may know what to do. They've been taught to wait until someone tells you what to do, because when you're a teacher and you're in front of all these students and you have them do an assignment, you don't want to have to correct 50 times what's going on. So wait till I tell you what to do, wait till you hear all the instructions, and then do your assignment. That's how it was beat into their brains. That's how they were taught. That's how they act. So when you get a new employee and they wait on you, that's not something for you to get upset about. It's not something for you to be, emotional about or anything like that. It's literally the way that they've been trained. They're not self-starters. They're not self-initiating. They're going to wait for you to tell them what to do. They're only going to do the things that they feel very, very confident that need to be done, so that they don't get in a situation where they're having to redo something, or they're being, corrected. That's the first rule that we need to all kind of keep in mind, is that you need to know what your employees are, what their generations are, and where they're coming from, and how they were taught. And don't be upset if they work different than you manage. You need to come to a happy medium between you and them, so that you're managing and they're performing in such a way that the job's getting done at both the level that it needs to be, and the fact that everybody involved is happy. You're not going to overwork a young person. It's not going to happen. They're simply not going to do it. And that goes from Gen X on. that they have a work-life balance, and that they have, you know, an appreciation for tools, and they're not going to get out there and get to the point. Now, that's not to say that you're not going to find some hard workers out there. What I'm telling you is that you're not going to overwork them or work them to the point to where, because they're going to let you know that they're done. And you need to be able to handle that. Make sure that your employees are familiar with what they're doing and with the equipment that they're using. Now, I know this sounds kind of rudimentary, and I know that, you know, for us that's been in the business for a long time, you know, anybody can roll out a jumpy. It's not that big of a deal. It's not like we're telling them certain techniques on how to roll them up, or, you know, whatever. You'll be surprised. You would be very, very surprised when someone hasn't been exposed to something their entire life, and you expose them to something, how they're not familiar with something, and they're not familiar with certain tools, and they're not familiar with certain ways, and they're not even familiar with structure and weight of things. So you need to be very, very careful that you're not putting them in a situation where they're, you know, dangerously trying to lift something that's way too heavy that's going to hurt them, or trying to, you know, catch something that's, you know, too heavy, or, you know, whatever it may be. Make sure your employees are familiar with the equipment. Make sure they know what it looks like, and make sure they know how it operates, and how to install it, and also how to take it up. First and foremost, you have to do that. And again, don't take anything for granted, because if you assume something, that's the first time you're going to get burned, is when you make the assumption that, you know, they should have known that when they shouldn't have. That's just not how it is. You need to make sure that your employees know what the procedure is for the rental. Customers are going to interact with them, and they're going to do it even when you're there. You'll be surprised how many young people will gravitate towards younger people, because they're less intimidating, and it's something that they have been taught to do in their peer groups and in their socialization. They immediately go to younger people. So you can obviously be the older, experienced manager there, and they're going to walk right over to your employee and ask them certain questions on how things operate, or how things work, or how they function, or how safety rules, or you know, what they should do. You need to make sure your employee knows, you know, all that stuff, so that they can convey this. And also kind of keep your ears out, so that you're making sure that the right information is being passed on. Along the same lines of that, customer relations is huge. Again, they're going to be exposed to customers. And if you got, you know, a young kid who's not interacting, or who's acting in such a way that it may be rude or offensive or loud, you know, it may be 8 or 10 o'clock at night on a summer evening, and that's no big deal to them. But the neighborhood is shut down, and the kids are in sleep, and the whole 9 yards, and they're out there banging, you know, doors, or slamming tailgates, or throwing hammers in the back of trucks, and that makes a lot of banging noise, and it may upset the homeowners or the neighbors. So keep that stuff in mind, and let them know. Also, you know, the way that they dress and the way that they act, the way they shouldn't be smoking in front of the customers. They shouldn't be obviously taking any kind of illicit items from the customers, alcohol, drugs, anything like that, or bringing it to, you know, the circumstance. I can't count the number of times that customers offer us, you know, alcohol, and again, I just respectfully decline it. It's very, very nice, and I can appreciate it, but it's not something that you need to encourage, because it literally is just going to, you could take a beer from someone and go to the very next house, and then all of a sudden somebody's offended or upset because they see it inside your truck. You haven't opened it, you haven't taken a sip, none of that, but they see beer inside there, and the first thing they're thinking is you're around kids, you got this big old truck or this big old van, and you're driving drunk. So just keep it out. Don't even get into that situation. And again, with the smoking, you don't want them smoking around the customers, even if it is outside. You know, people don't want, some people don't want that. So tell your guys, you know, no, they have to find a way to have their smoke breaks that are that are outside of actual deliveries. Even if the customer's smoking, I would not smoke. You need to teach your guys and girls to be very attention oriented, pay attention to details, and make sure that they're doing things. I can't count the number of times that my employees, my good guys, the veteran guys, I'll go through my videos where I videotape some of the stuff for my channel, and I will see them do things behind me where they're picking up something or they're moving something out of the way because it's not safe, or you need to teach your employees, all of them, that they need to all be looking out for each other. They need to all be attention oriented. They need to be detail oriented and working together to make sure that they're taking care of things. There are 1,875,258 steaks that are between 18 inches long out in the United States, and most of those belong to me, because me and my employees have left them at customers' houses. So, if your guys are paying attention, if everybody's doing their part, you're going to lose less steaks. You're going to lose less, cords, sandbags, things that you would be surprised that you're leaving behind at the customer's house. And you know what? You can get upset about it and say, "Oh, my guys are leaving all these steaks," and then you'll find out. You'll get a customer that calls you and says, "Hey, you left these steaks," and you'll look back and you're the one that did that rental, and you're the one that picked up that rental. So it could happen to anybody. It's happened to me. We've done a thing where we have a checklist where we keep track of all the stuff that goes out, so we know what to pick up and bring back with us. But there's a lot of things, and the biggest point is make sure your guys are attention oriented. Time management is huge. You need to teach your guys that it is important to be on time to your rentals. Be early to your rentals. Communicate with your customers and make sure that you're doing the things that you could. If they can't manage their time, two things are going to happen. They're going to be late and customers are going to be unhappy, or during pickups, it's going to take them forever to get their stuff picked up. And time is money. I always tell my guys, listen, you're on your clock now. You don't get paid extra because we have these units to pick up. It is X amount of units, X amount of time. So, you need to make sure that you motivate your guys to get out there and get your stuff picked up in a timely manner. And they have to be, going back to the other thing, they have to be, attention detailed, and they have to be safe, and they have to do all these things to make sure that they're doing it right. But in the same respect, this is a business, and business time always equals money in business. Always. You gotta stress to them that if they do this, in a timely manner, it's better for them. The way that I motivate my guys is through bonuses. If you're paying them on an hourly wage, pay them X amount on an hourly wage, and then bonus per pickup. That bonus motivates them to deliver and to pick up in a timely manner. Bonus is huge when it comes to that, and it's good for them. There's again, you'll have to get into the tax ramifications and everything, and make sure you're paying your guys at the right level. But motivating them to do the things that are right is always going to be best for you and the business. Safety is always first. Listen, if you have employees that are injured, they are not doing anyone any good. They're not doing you any good. They're not doing them any good. If they are creating a situation that's dangerous for the customers, it's no good for you either. What they're doing is creating a situation where you are going to lose money, you're going to lose time, you're going to lose effort, you're going to lose a lot of stuff. Safety, safety, safety. It's always best to take, a few breaths and make sure that you're doing things the right way. And again, there's a million different things that are going on in this situation. Everything from dogs to cars to kids to everything. So you need to keep all those in mind and have a weekly briefing on what safety options that they have and what safety techniques they need to take so that they understand. Communication is key. Talk to your employees. Let them know what is going on. This is hugely important, because what's going to happen is that if there's any confusion, if there's any room for something to go wrong because of confusion, it will definitely go wrong because of confusion, and it will be blamed on confusion. Talk to them. Be clear, be concise, be absolute when you have your discussions with them, and let them know what you expect and let them know what you want, and let them know that they can speak to you about stuff so that you get the information back. It's a bad situation where you are, trying to get these things done, and one of your guys has an issue and is afraid to talk to you about it, and then it compounds and gets in a situation where, why didn't you just call me? Well, I didn't want to bother you, or I didn't want to get you upset, or blah 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 blah. Communication. Make sure they can talk to you, and make sure you talk to them. Teamwork. Your guys are working as a team. Some of the bigger units, some of the bigger tents, some of the bigger, even if you're putting out hundreds of tables and chairs and stuff, that's not a one-man person job. It'll take you all day. You got to have more than one, and it takes teamwork. You need to come up with systems, and you need to come up with ways that you are performing that utilizes the best of all your employees. Come up with a drill or something that you can do that makes things that work. If you see something that's eroding that or taking away from that in the day-to-day operation, stop, point it out, let everybody know, hey, why don't we try it this way? You need to make sure that your guys are always trying to improve both the business and themselves. It's good to encourage this amongst them. You could do this through competitions or a million different ways. Making it where they can do more to kind of help the business and work the business along. You take these things to mind, and you'll be surprised if you include your employees on building your business. You'll be surprised how much more effort and time and everything that they put into it. There's nothing wrong with asking one of your employees to put together a program for a certain thing, or putting together a way that they need to install a certain tent, or stow certain tables, or roll a certain bounce. You do need to make sure that they do their research and make sure that they're doing it the right way and not just kind of throwing something together. But include them and make them part of that team and make them part of that effort to make things better. And you'll be surprised how far it goes. I've got a video of my new guy, and I want you to see some of the things that are going on. He's a really good guy, and he's doing a great job. This is his very first rental, his very first installation. You'll see some of the things that I go over with you about how maybe newer employees are going to wait and get instruction. And also, there's tons of other things. Put your guys in a uniform. You'll see in this video that I don't have him in a t-shirt, and this was kind of training day. But you need to get them in a t-shirt or a uniform as quick as you can. It makes them part of the team. It makes them feel like they're on your side, so they're going to start working like they're on your side. And it also does all this advertising and stuff for you, because they're wearing that t-shirt around and people are looking at it. So you'll see lots of things in the video. And again, not down on my guy. He's going to be perfect. He's working out great. But there are just some huge examples in this of how you need to manage your people, and don't be upset if they are waiting on you to get the job done, even if it's something that you assume that, you know, they should be doing. Anyway, guys, I really need your help. Like and subscribe. I need to get my numbers up. If you don't mind, if you like these videos so I can keep doing them, I appreciate your time. I appreciate all your effort and everything. I hope that your business is doing well for you, and I hope that these videos are helping as well. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you around.
The drop cord, if you pull it a little bit more, it just slips out of it.
That's right, you got about 20 feet on that. Let it go. Let it go. Usually loop this around the handle on the blower.
Knowing. So like, I was thinking about it, right? You said critical thinking, right? So like, if I have a problem, if I'm ever doing one of these and I have an issue, so like, your YouTube thing, right? You said you put them on your YouTube, right? So wouldn't it be just smart, like, if I ever had an issue, to go look at your YouTube channel?
Yeah. But hopefully you'll look at it before then and know what you need to do.
If I ever had like an issue.
Zipper on the side?
Yes.
Another one on this side.
Put it in the Velcro.
Yep. We'll close this up too.
sir. Just these two? Or both? All three?
Back.
Yeah, those two